Welcome to MeatEater Radio Live. It's 11 a.m. Mountain Time. That's noon for our friends in Platte, South Dakota on Thursday, April 24th, and we're live from MeatEater HQ in Bozeman. I'm your host, Spencer, joined today by Seth and Chili. On today's show, we'll interview Brian Schroeder about North America's oldest weapon kit that was just discovered in Texas. Then we've got a hot tip-off about recycled waders and fleshing furs, followed by 1 Minute Fishing with Trout Unlimited in Connecticut. After that, we'll play MeatEater's Price is Right. And finally, we'll interview Amanda Fairbairn Kimery about one of the coolest tattoos I've ever seen. But first, Seth, I want to talk to you about this very successful weekend of hunting you just had. How many turkeys died?
Well, between my wife and I, 4 died.
4 turkeys.
Yep.
You boys are going to be eating good. You and your wife are going to be eating good on white meat for the rest of the year.
Yeah. We were somewhere in America hunting. And killed some turkeys and then had some time to kill, did some exploring, and went and did a little Spencer Neuharth rock hounding.
Yeah, Seth, you're getting right to the part that I want to talk to you about. Yeah. I thought I was going to have to listen to turkey hunting stories for 3 minutes.
I could tell you them.
Let's talk about the rock.
Yeah, let's talk
about that.
I found a big rock that had a little bit of this ammonite sticking out of it. And at the time, I didn't know what was in there. I could just tell that there was something going on. So I threw that rock against another rock a little too hard.
Yep, you threw the soft rock against a harder rock.
Yes, and broke it open, and this is what I found inside.
Seth, in his hand, has a softball-size sea critter. This is an ammonite. Ammonites had one of the most successful runs in the history of the planet. They were around, they showed up in the fossil record like 450 million years ago, and then they disappeared around 66 million years ago for the same event that killed the dinosaurs. Now, in between that time, they survived all kinds of crazy stuff. There were other extinction events that happened where like 98% of the life on Earth disappeared, and they survived that.
Really?
Yeah. Ammonites made it through. Around 200 million years ago, they started to struggle a little bit, and the event that killed the dinosaurs is also what killed them. And this ammonite is wonderful. They at one point, or at probably multiple points, were the most populous animal on Earth. There was more of them than anything else living in our oceans. And you should watch the documentary Prehistoric Planet. If you've ever seen the regular documentary called like Planet Earth, right? There's a Prehistoric Planet one they do. And there's like a whole little section on ammonites. It's a ton of fun. And this one, Seth, has a beautiful nacre on it. That's what that little sheen is called.
Oh, yeah.
What you see on a seashell that you'd pick up in the ocean. Show that thing to the camera a little more. Spin it around. A wonderful ammonite. Now, there's some of those that are the size of your fingernail, all the way up to ones that are 9 foot wide.
Wow.
And this is a big one, Seth.
Yeah, I have another rock that I had found with a couple small ones just kind of sticking out, like poking out. But that's the biggest one I've ever found. And another thing I find with this, what's the shine called again?
Nacre.
I believe it's a baculite.
Yes. Yeah.
So we find those with that shine on there too.
A similar type of animal they were.
Do you know what would have made them so successful?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think they obviously, if we think about the things that are successful now, like a coyote or a cockroach, they're able to occupy a ton of different niches, right? Like if one food source or one type of habitat disappeared, they just keep on going with something else. I'm assuming it's something similar with ammonites that
makes
made
sense.
them so successful. That's a special fossil, Seth.
Yeah, it's
for you.
It's one of the better ones in my collection. And
where's your collection live?
It lives in my living room. My wife Kelsey and I made these like shelves. We call it the Morris Museum. Just all the cool stuff we found over the years. And
it looked like that thing was found inside of a cannonball. There's a whole river in North Dakota called the Cannonball River. And basically that's like mud that would kind of roll in the waves, and sometimes that would pick up fossils like this. So that's probably what happened there. Is that this thing died, got rolled up in some mud, and then just got blown around on a windy shoreline for a while.
It's I don't know, it's cool. Like I've seen videos of people breaking those open, and like you never know what's going to be inside.
But
yeah, this one I got lucky with this one.
What a weekend. That giant fossil and 4 turkeys.
4 turkeys, yeah. Love it.
At the beginning of the show there, I shouted out Platte, South Dakota. Chili, a fellow South Dakotan.
Mm-hmm.
Nicest people I ever met on earth are from Platte, South Dakota.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of have a bigger footprint than I thought. I went fishing up in Alaska in a town called St. Petersburg, and the guy who took us out, his name was Ole. But his parents originated from Platte, South Dakota, moved to St. Petersburg. He now lives there with his family, but he goes back every single year. And then I got people that I grew up with that live over there. Great bird hunting.
Yeah.
Love that area.
Good fishing.
Well, yeah, I was
good
going to say,
deer.
what goes on in Platte?
Everything. They're right on the Missouri River.
Yep.
So they got fishing, deer hunting,
They
turkey
do.
hunting?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a paradise.
Yeah. We love you, Platte.
Yep.
Me and Chili. Shout out, Platte. All right, let's move on with the show. Joining us on the line first is Brian Schroeder, the director of the Center of Big Bend Studies. He's here to talk about what may be North America's oldest intact weapon system, which was just discovered in West Texas. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
First thing, Brian, set the scene for us by describing Big Bend National Park.
Okay, so these are found just outside of the park a little bit, and they're right on the edge of a big cliff, and it's called the Alameda Creek Drainage, and the Alameda Creek Drainage had live water, and so we're looking at the large of a big desert environment at the base of a large creek and a dried up stream.
So besides the weapon kit that we'll get to in a little bit, what other notable finds have archaeologists had in this area?
So the region's had a lot of stuff found throughout the years. That's kind of what lured me there. There's just a mammoth tusk that's rattling around in the news. Our center just excavated that. But for the most part, it's stuff like this, just lots of weapon kits that not weapon kits, but weapons in particular. So it just preserves perishable stuff really, really well because it's so hot and dry.
And so that's the key for that area. Why ancient things are so well preserved in West Texas.
Yeah, you get really good preservation where there's it's either hot or dry or it's protected. It's the same thing. Microorganisms need some stuff to live, and when you remove water from that equation, you get really good preservation. So, that's how they preserve.
Okay, tell us about the day of discovery. Describe the cave and why your team was in that spot.
So we're actually there because the cave has been collected for years by amateur groups, and we were there actually because we didn't think we would find anything. We were there because we thought that it was really impacted, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to open up a cave and date the sediments so we could see how much time was left. We could understand in the sediments, and the pesky archaeology record wouldn't get in our way. And so it's really collapsed. It's been very dug, and so it's not this Hollywood cave that you walk into. It's been pretty impacted.
Okay, and so tell us about when the weapons were discovered. How close to each other were they? Did you know what they were? Yeah. Was everyone stoked and giving high fives out?
Oh, so we actually dug in a portion of the cave that was really collapsed, and we thought that would be the best example to find all of the sediments we were looking for. And some of the crew thought we were crazy because it was really tucked up back underneath the rock, and we started excavating under that, and we ended up finding 4 of them in 2020. That was the first year that we found them. And one of them we could tell that it was a piece of a dart, but the other ones really didn't make any sense. And so we were really excited about the dart, obviously, but we did not know what the other pieces and part were. And then we found a piece of it every year after that as we expanded out the excavation. So we've literally found pieces and parts since 2020.
Okay, tell us about what this weapon kit fully consists of besides a dart.
So it's really interesting because it's got different components, and so it shows us how modular the hunting kits were. And so we have at least 4 stone-tipped foreshafts that would have won the end of the atlatl system. We have the atlatl itself that's missing the spur, so the spur actually snapped off of it. and then they discarded it back there with this. We have footwear, so we have sandals that they left with there. We have some kind of antler piece that's clearly for like retooling the stone that goes on there. And then we have what people call rabbit sticks, but the discipline's starting to call straight flying boomerangs. So a hunting boomerang, and then we have wood tipped darts that probably were a poison delivery device, but that's conjecture right now. We've got to do the science on that, but that's what we think they are. So we have all these modular pieces. Oh, and then we have the knock ends of the darts themselves. So the only thing we're missing out of the kit is the actual sleeve that the foreshafts would have fit into. So we have almost the complete hunting kit at a moment in time, almost 7,000 years ago.
And you can see a photo of this hunting kit right now on the MeatEater Podcast YouTube channel. What do we know about the person who left these behind? Did they live there? Were they just passing through? What do you guys think?
So that's the part we're trying to understand right now, because there's a small little hearth back there, and there's 4 copper lights back there. So there's 4 pieces of essentially human poop. And it seems like somebody just went back there, went through their weapon kit. They cut the fletching off of the back of the nocks. So they salvaged their nocks. They were retooling their darts, and then they left the pieces of the foreshafts that, they couldn't service because all the foreshafts are split. So it seems like one person passing through, but it seems like the intent was to come back because there's a pronghorn hide that's been folded, like they were cutting pieces off of it, and they were maybe servicing some clothing. I don't know. But then they folded it up and they put it on a rock, and it seems like they meant to get back to that, and they just never got back to there. So my guess would be passing through, and probably 1, maybe 2 people, not many. It's a really, really small little crook in the cave. Like, it's not, one person laying back there would be crowded.
Brian, Seth here, got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you guys done with the excavation, or could there be more stuff in there that you guys haven't found yet?
No, so we're actually at the beginning. We're not in the beginning. We've been digging for 2020, but now that we understand this time period better back there, we're not to the time period we want to get to. So we want to get to the early record. We really want to look at the paleo record, and that's what we're trying to get to. But we keep finding all this stuff. So we're 5 years into a collaborative research with the University of Kansas. The University of Kansas actually sponsors it, and we're going to keep going for the foreseeable future. So we're kind of midway through, I would suppose.
Brian, do we know what was in the fossilized crab?
No, that's one of the things we need to look at. It's definitely fiber, but there's kind of a startling amount of bone in it, and that's one of the things we need to do. We just dated them, and we really didn't think they'd be the same age as the deposit, but they're the exact same age as the hunting kit.
Wow.
So all of it's the exact same age. So that's going to be amazing, because that'll give us that'll tell us exactly what, at least they were doing for a moment in time back there.
And what do you think the weapons were used to hunt?
So I think that's what the coolest thing is. I think they're hunting different things, right? So there's a stone-tipped point that goes on the end of the dart. That's for one type of game, probably medium game. I mean, it's pretty sexy to say that, that toolkit maybe killed the pronghorn that was in there, but that I definitely don't know. That's just, that's me editorializing it. And then the darts, if they are poison darts, the wood tips, those are for something else entirely. And then there's a straight flying boomerang, which is, we think it's for small game, but the faculty that I work with do a lot of experimental studies, and they've played around with those, and they think they could be pretty deadly for other stuff. So it's definitely a medium mammal sized toolkit, and maybe small mammals. Definitely pronghorn. We don't know if there was bison out in West Texas. That's one of the open questions. So, I mean, certainly medium game and small game.
You said that the idea that they are darts is sort of a hypothesis right now. What makes you think that they are poison darts, and what kind of poison would they have been using?
So that's one of the things that my colleagues at the center want to really look at. They're the ones that have really been showing me more of the sighting that a lot of indigenous groups knew how to hunt with poison, and they knew how to make poison compounds. And exactly what it would be, I I don't know, but we just actually got the lab equipment to start testing that. So we're actually going to start doing that and they're going to start making different poison compounds and testing it against that with residue and seeing if we can figure out what they're doing. But the wood part of it, I think, is what we think. They're clearly coated in some kind of resin, and they've been sort of looking for this parallel in the archaeological record that if there's these wooden tips, that'd be a great way to deliver poison into animals. And lo and behold, this cave has at least 3 of them. So we can start testing that hypothesis.
And what kind of wood are those tools made of?
That's so the only thing we've speciated as far as wood goes right now is the actual atlatl itself, and that is it's an acacia. It's probably local mesquite. I mean, it's absolutely jaw-dropping. I'll never find another atlatl in my life, and it's a really, really old atlatl. But it's, as far as things that they could make, it's probably a 15-minute job for them. It's a pretty simple atlatl, and it's just a split. It's just split. So that one we know is mesquite.
And the radiocarbon dating process for wood, is that the exact same as it is for rock?
So radiocarbon dating, it works on the organic. The rock we date differently. Rock, you can date residues off it if there's organic compounds, but you can only date organic compounds. So that's what makes the weapon kit so cool, is that it's a direct decision. Those people killed those trees to make that weapon, and so they are the ones that actually killed the organic materials to make that kit. So we're dating a direct human decision.
Yeah, so it was declared by you guys, I think, that this is the oldest intact weapon system in North America. What discovery now has the silver medal?
We talked a lot about this. So again, my colleagues at the center, we were talking about this, and there's certainly older weapons, like individual weapons, and there's probably some stuff in the Yukon that's it's probably older, but we all can think that the second oldest complete system is probably from White Dog Cave. You get the full atlatl system, that's 2,500 years, somewhere in there. So, I mean, we're getting a significant time difference, and this weapon kit is completely different than the one in White Dog. So that's really interesting to see how that technology evolved over 4,000 years. So,
what comes next for this project?
We're going to keep going. I mean, the goal of the project is, I mean, the 6,500-year-old weapon kit is really, really cool. But what we really want to do is know if there's earlier deposits in the cave, and if the cave was used by earlier folks, and we just haven't gotten there in the excavation. So next is continuing to go down and see if we get earlier deposits, and we have a paleo record there, and we can get the initial entry of humans into North America. So that's next. Keep digging.
Well, thank you for joining us, Brian. Congrats on the exciting find, and good luck with the research to come.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Boy, we got a real Spencer episode so far. A lot of rock on top.
Yeah, I bet you're stoked about this.
We'll see if the listeners stick around with us or not. All right, our next segment is Hot Tip Off.
HOTTIP off. Turn your head and give a cough. What's that face? Don't you scoff. There aren't many words that rhyme with off.
HOTTIP off. Let's all do a hot tip off. HOTTIP off. Let's all do a hot tip off.
God, Phil.
That song is so good. It's even got Phil back there bobbing his head. He composed it. Phil's been trying to line up a karaoke date in the next few weeks.
You know what? I got to give the credit to another man in this room, and that would be Chili. He's the one who brought it back up to my attention, and I'm glad he did. We're trying to make it happen. So, if there's anyone at the company watching, hit up that group Slack. Let me know what date works best for you.
What's the group Slack called? It's just called
Karaoke.
I'm just trying to bring the people together, you know.
What are you going to sing,
in these
Chili?
tough times? What am I going to sing?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many songs out there. Creed. Go with Creed, See, the problem I run into at karaoke nowadays is, I'll try to make this quick, is you get either really, really old people or you get really, really young people. So, you're either going to
Trying to
offend,
bridge that gap.
yeah, you're going to offend some old people, or you're
Okay.
going to sing a song that young people don't know, which is it's a fickle game you got to play.
Okay. Well, give us an example though of what you think you might sing.
Oh man, you can't go wrong with like some Tyler Childers. My actually go-to song is Neon Moon by Brooks and Dunn, because I can do this thing where I can kind of sound, I can do like make, Ronnie Dunn's voice is a little different.
Yeah.
I can kind of do that. And so the old people in the crowd, they can appreciate. The young kids just have no clue what's going on. So
The last time we went out for karaoke after kickball, I sang Neon.
I was gonna say, I think that's I've heard Spencer sing that one.
yeah,
Good choice.
It's a good song.
Good choice.
All right, Hot Tip Off is where two listeners go head-to-head with competing pieces of advice, and after we hear each tip, we'll declare which one is hotter. If you have a hot tip, take a 1-minute video on your phone and email it to radio@themeateater.com with the subject line Hot Tip Off. This week, it's Adam Smith versus Brian Nisley, and they're competing to win a 3-year Onyx Elite membership and a Moultrie Edge 2 cell cam. All right, let's hear this week's hot tips.
Adam Smith.
Hey there, Adam Smith coming at you with a hot fishing tip that is budget friendly. I love to wade fish, but I don't normally use waders or need waders, but I do like the storage they provide. And so I was looking for a chest rig, a weatherproof, water-resistant chest rig to take wading. And as I was doing that, I remembered that I had an old messed up pair of waders that was leaking. So instead of taking hundreds or dozens of dollars to spend on a new piece of gear, I took some scissors, took that old pair of waders, and just cut them in half, right at the belly. Now, the top half of that wader serves as a chest rig. I got water-resistant storage here for phone wallet keys. And between this and my fishing vest, everything is right on me, easy access, and if I take a dip in the water or the weather turns real rainy, I know I can still keep my essentials dry. So I was able to do that without buying a new piece of gear. So let me know what you think. Budget-friendly fishing tip. Thank you.
Bryon Schroeder.
Brian Nisley, Northwestern Pennsylvania. I got a hot tip for you guys that are fleshing coons or other super greasy animals. It's always a challenge keeping your beam clean. Once you start pushing the fat off the skirt and get your beam all greased up, use paper towels or something to wipe it. But paper towels are getting expensive, fur is cheap, and I learned this from a fur buyer years ago. Get yourself some sawdust. I work at a sawmill, so I get it for free, but you can get it at sawmills or woodworking shops, anywhere that's selling sawdust for animal bedding or whatever. Throw a handful of sawdust on there, wipe it around, soaks up that grease and wipes right off. You're good to go. Works for your hands too. Super cheap and effective. Thank you.
And again, they are competing for a 3-year Onyx Elite membership and a Moultrie Edge 2 cell cam. Now, Brian was kind of going for Seth's heart there. He's from Pennsylvania, wearing a bear grease hat, talking about fleshing, what do you have there, raccoon?
Raccoons.
Now, I'm going to have to rely on you here, Seth. Is that a hot tip about putting sawdust down?
That is a hot tip. It's a hot tip that I've been doing for years.
Oh, okay.
Decades, actually.
Where'd you learn it?
In Pennsylvania when I was fleshing coons. Yeah,
So,
from a fur buyer.
Of the percentage of folks who are out there fleshing coons, what percentage do you think know about that hot tip? Is it common knowledge?
I would say it's fairly common.
Okay.
Yeah. But I could be wrong. The guys I ran around with
They
did
were
it.
experienced.
Yeah.
They were legit.
But, there might be some folks starting out that don't know about that, and
Chili?
it's a great tip.
You're an aspiring trapper, right? Did you know about the sawdust trick?
I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about fleshing. I've only done it a number of times. Seth has been a part of that process pretty heavily. But now, for me, that is a hot tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was more interested in his setup that he had going on.
Yeah.
With everything
His
going
beam
on.
was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
He was
Just
ready
set
to
up
go
there.
in there.
Yeah.
Now, Phil, are you doing a poll of our audience?
I am doing. I've got a live poll
Okay.
in the chat right now.
Phil's going to let that go for a few more minutes.
It's kind of tight, so let your
Okay.
voice be heard.
I will say with the first hot tip,
Adam Smith.
Yep. I love the idea. I was looking for it to be a little shorter, to pique my interest. If it was me, it'd be probably just that.
Just a tube top?
Just a tube top for chili.
Yeah, I like that. You can really appreciate these hot tips if you're watching this on our YouTube channel. And again, we have Adam Smith with the recycled waders versus Brian and doing the fur trapping. While our audience continues to vote on this, I want to tell you folks that we need more hot tips. Corey Calkins, he's the one who manages our inbox there, and he said we're running low on really good ones. So please take that 1-minute video and email it to radio@themeateater.com with the subject line hot tip off. You're going to compete for some really good prizes if your video gets chosen. And this week, it's that 3-year Onyx Elite membership and a Moultrie Edge 2 cell cam.
And really quick, get some questions into the chat for the crew for our listener feedback section, too. Just a reminder.
All right, Chili, if you were voting, you're going to pick the recycled waders or the fur trapping. We're going to let the audience decide, but maybe we can sway their opinion.
Brother, I would say where I'm at in my life, I would say the trapping hot tip, the sawdust, like that is probably going to be more applicable to me right now.
Okay. Seth?
I appreciate a frugal man, but I'm going to go with the fur trapping as well, the sawdust hot tip. Brian's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He's flushing raccoons.
Good facial hair.
Good facial hair. All this is very familiar territory to me. I'm going with Brian.
I'm going to go with Adam Smith. I like the idea of recycling those waders, and that looked like a pretty handy little thing to have on your chest. People would talk to you about it if they saw you on the river, I think, too.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this poll right now with 53% of the vote. Oh, no, at the last second, 52 now.
Okay.
The winner is Brian with the sawdust.
Well done, Brian. Corey Calkins is going to reach out to you about how to claim your prizes. And for everyone else listening, please send us some more hot tips. We want to keep doing this segment. We want to get educated and educate our audience with your hot tips. All right, let's take a break for some listener feedback. Phil, what's the chat have to say?
That's a great question. Well, first I just wanted to say congrats to Mogor, our guy Mogor in the chat. He just passed the toughest exam of his life, and we're officially kicking off the weekend for him.
Nice.
Okay.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Mogor.
Man.
He's in the chat every week, so we appreciate you sticking around with us, Mogor, and hanging out from Hungary. I'd like to know what that exam is. Maybe let us know in the chat.
Oh, yeah, please do, because I think he mentioned it a couple weeks ago as well, and I was curious. So, yeah, let us know, Mogor. This is kind of a big general question, but it's still that turkey season. So if you guys have any hot tips, speaking of, for spicy nachos, he says, hey, all first-time turkey hunter here. I was wondering if I could get some late-season turkey hunting tips. In Canada here, turkeys opened 10 days ago, and he has had no luck.
I got one.
Thank you.
Go for it, Seth.
If you're hunting late season turkeys, you have to be in the woods from that 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock hour if your state allows it. Late season hens, once they're done doing their thing and getting bred in the morning, they will go sit on their nests, and those toms will become solo and looking for love. It's a great time to kill a late season turkey.
Yeah, and turkey hunters who are smarter than me will talk about how you should change your decoy setup throughout the season. Like, what were you using this weekend, Seth? In Montana here, we'd probably be considered what, like early season here, middle of the season, or early season? What are you running for decoys?
I typically don't run decoys unless I have to. That's just because I just like, well, one thing I don't love the way I hunt, a lot of running and gunning. I just don't love carrying decoys. And I don't know, I just like to play the game without decoys. I like to set up in spots where the turkey basically has to be in shooting range for it to see where the calling's coming from. So
There you go.
That's how I like to hunt. I will use decoys occasionally if I'm set up like in a big open area or whatever. But
yeah, no, I think like sort of it's very general rule of thumb, but usually your turkey decoy setups get smaller as the season goes on. So early season, when birds are still really flocked up, you may have, if you have the ability to do it, 4 decoys out there.
Yeah.
And if you're really getting late in the season, spicy nachos, might be time to pare that down to just a single hen or a hen and a strutter. What else you got, Phil?
Andreas is asking, Chili, what was your MOS when you were serving?
Andreas. I was an 0651.
Which is what?
COM. Data network specialist. But yeah, did a bunch of stuff with communications equipment and things of that nature, man.
Right on. Ben says, Spencer, did you hear that Dakota Angler brought back the Rapalo Minnow Wrap as an exclusive? You had said in the last Radio Live you were in that you caught your personal best pike on it, but they were discontinued.
I had a few people reach out to me and email me that Dakota Angler is bringing back the Rapalo Minnow Wrap. Rapala has so many offerings, and this was like a very specific one at a very specific time and place. And I'm thrilled to hear that Dakota Angler has that sort of swing to get the minnow wrap back on their shelves. That's a great part of the country to be offering that crankbait. So good on you, Dakota Angler, and thanks for the heads up, Ben, and everyone else who reached out.
I caught my PB pike on an X-Wrap.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What kind of X-Wrap? Because I feel like there's like X-Wrap this, X-Wrap that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have like a little bucktail on the last
It has a
jig.
little bucktail.
Mhm.
It was when the X-Wrap first came out.
Okay.
So, yeah, whatever the OG X-Wrap was,
Yeah.
I bought a handful of them for catching bass in Maine when I was living back east.
And I feel like a lot of the X-Wraps, too, they would have, like, the hollow body look that you'd, like, see through them.
Yeah, this one you could see through was blue. Yep, had the bucktail on it. But, yeah, caught my PB pike in Montana.
I miss being really tuned into, like, what crankbaits are hot right now and, like, what's the new color that Rapala came out with this year.
I don't do a whole lot of crankbait fishing. I'm more like jig and plastic type guy for walleye, and don't do a whole lot of bass in here, but I love it. It's fun. I just wish there was more opportunities, which there are some good ones. But I don't exactly keep up with those style of baits.
Yeah, I used to be really tuned in. It was totally 100% something that caught more fishermen than fish.
Yeah.
But I still like being very familiar with the library of crankbaits that different brands were offering. What else you got, Phil?
We'll do one more here. Well, actually, we'll do a light one and then a real one. What do the crew members use to maintain their facial hair? I hate an itchy beard, but don't enjoy the 12-year-old boy look with a bald face.
As someone who's like gone back and forth between mustache and beard in the last few years, the itchy stage to me is like a very specific time. I don't remember when that is, but it's like between weeks, I don't know, 2 and 4 or something like that, and then it's not itchy anymore. Is that what you like? Your familiarity with it, Chili?
Yeah, when I had a big beard, like it was like that 2 to 4 weeks, maybe quarter of an inch long, and it got super itchy, and then all of a sudden it just stopped.
It's not itchy anymore.
Yeah.
You never think about it.
No.
As far as maintenance, I don't do anything. It gets the same shampoo that my hair gets.
Tree sap every morning, freshly found in the woods.
Chili's a tail and mane guy.
Yeah, the hair is mane and tail.
Mane and tail.
Mane and tail. Is it like a pomade or what?
No, it's a shampoo and conditioner made for horses.
Now you're messing with it.
That's a hot tip right
don't
there for the
use that.
folks. Yeah, I do.
You have a horse shampoo and conditioner in your shower right now.
Mane and tail.
Okay, you send me a picture of
I
that.
will send you a picture.
I like your hair a lot more, Chili, now knowing that. Who told you about this idea? Did you come up with it?
No. Originally it came from the movie Blades of Glory.
Oh.
When he goes like, you help yourself to the mane and tail all you want, but don't even think about touching the verticoli. So, and then like it kind of took off. And then for me, I mean, as you can tell, proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah. Good head of lettuce on Chili.
Yeah, and it just it shimmers. And that's why I like it.
Mane and tail, I like that.
I do nothing for the stash, and I like to wash the hair like maybe once a week.
We can tell.
All right,
Keep it greasy.
That was the fun one, Phil. Let's hear what this dark twisted one is.
Oh no, it's not. I just meant. What is the fastest time you have filled a turkey tag? Do you pass up the bird that comes out first light on the first day? He said he lives in a single bird bag limit area. That's from Will.
I got a story that could tie a handful of things together that we talked about.
Please do it.
Last Saturday, my wife and I killed some turkeys in the morning, and then we went to a different spot, and this was probably about 11:30ish, and got to a ridge, made a call. Turkey gobbled like 200, probably 250ish away, and within, I don't know, a couple minutes, that thing was dead.
Mm-hmm.
It just came running.
That's efficient.
Yep. And it was that that mid or that late morning hour, which hens went to sit, and he was lonely.
Did it ever cross your mind to pass on that bird so you could?
Well, my wife was shooting on that one. I was just calling, and I guarantee it didn't pass her mind.
Yeah, it's never crossed my mind to pass on a legal turkey. The quickest I ever killed was my first archery bird. It was opening morning. I was set up way too close to the roost, what would be considered too close, but it worked out anyway. Bird came down right off the roost, walked into my decoys, and I shot him dead.
Nice.
As far as passing on a bird at first light of the day, nah, no thanks. No.
Yeah, I don't pass on turkeys unless they're jakes. I'm to the point where I don't shoot jakes anymore. But
all right, moving on. Our next segment is 1 minute fishing.
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Go ahead. Make my cast.
1 minute fishing is where we go live to someone who's fishing and they have 1 minute to catch a fish. And if they're successful, we'll make a $500 donation to a conservation group. And for the whole month of April, our friends at Trout Unlimited are joining us for 1 minute fishing. This week, our angler is Jesse Vadala, the Eastern Region Manager at TU. Today, he's on a tributary of the Housatonic River in Connecticut and fishing for a donation to Trout Unlimited. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm sorry to give you the most chaotic and worst audio possible, but I am quite literally next to a racetrack at the moment, also a wild trout stream.
Okay, well, someone's going to figure out very easily where Jesse is then today. Jesse, we asked Trout Unlimited to highlight some important watersheds across the country for this segment. So first thing, tell us about the wild trout streams of New England and their greatest threats.
Totally. So it does tie into where I'm standing right now. This is the Salmon Kill Creek, which is right across from the Lime Rock Speedway. It's a wild trout tributary that had stunted habitat and tough deals with erosion. So what we're doing largely at TU across the Northeast is for wild trout, specifically the brook trout, we're working on improving connectivity, removing culverts and barriers. We have a beautiful open bridge here that we're checking in on, and that's where I'll be fishing right below. But yeah, we're doing a lot for connectivity and improving habitat for wild trout.
So what are some other things that TU has done to help fisheries of the Northeast?
TU has been a grassroots organization that largely focuses on educating the next generation. And today I've got about 25 students out here that are planting trees in a riparian buffer. This is an annual program where kids get out and learn more. That's the bread and butter of TU, is teaching the next generation about fly fishing and how important healthy cold rivers are. So that's what we do, and it's evident in my work today, even though I'm quite literally catching the Porsche Racer team moving behind me. So, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the fishing. What are you targeting today, and how are you doing it?
Totally. So real quick, obviously, as a Catskill dry fly angler, I'm always paying attention to the hatches. This time of year, we're starting to see Hendricksons, male and female. So I'm fishing in a merger that has both a dark Hendrickson and light Hendrickson kind of co-thorax color. Super optimistic to try and catch fish on dries on a bluebird day like today. So if it doesn't happen, I'm going to shoot some of the bigger holes below for the bigger brown trout. Usually fishing something like a small but wiggly black marabou streamer. Something cool to get their attention when they're hanging out low.
Okay, and when we talked to you before the show, you were very concerned about spooking trout. Do you think that's going to be an issue when you get to the water?
Yeah, actually, I think the cars might spook them more than me, but I'm walking over there right now. We're going to see how this goes. The audio could even get worse. But I feel like if you wanted live fly fishing, you're getting it.
Yeah. Your 1 minute of fishing will start as soon as you make that first cast. He is walking through the lanes of the racetrack right now, headed to the water.
Thanks for not hitting me, everyone. This has to be the most extreme location choice. Thanks to y'all for bearing with me in this chaotic fishing.
Okay, Jesse, are you set up and ready to make your cast?
Man, I'm walking into the stream side right now.
Okay. Now the green on the trees in the background makes me think of morel mushrooms. Have the kids planting all those trees come across any mushroom patches yet?
Good question. We're still a few more, I would say a week, maybe 2 weeks at most. Pretty well closely aligned to turkey season. we see morels up this way. A lot of ramps still out and about on the streams. That's a big one. Yeah, we've been able to find some. So I think pretty soon we'll start seeing morels. I'm going to set y'all up right where I had you before and we'll hope for the best.
Okay. Jesse is about to make his first cast. The timer will start when he makes that first cast. The video and audio are getting a little choppy. And he's got to fly in the water.
There it is.
Seth, would you be on that?
There are actually light Hendricksons near the water and some small stoneflies.
Okay.
There's a
You've
good
got
rock ledge over
45
here
seconds
on the far
left.
I'd probably more likely be on the river than the racetrack.
Jesse is feeling confident, saying that his fly is matching what he's
We're
seeing
throwing
in
one
the
more
water right now.
in that ring.
30 seconds to go.
Oh, yeah. That's that ledge. Let's get to eat.
We're going in. There's a natural right next to it. No heat.
Okay.
It's not looking good, folks.
You've got 15 seconds, Jesse.
I do like that he's providing his own
We're
commentary.
putting another clean one upstream. I'm
Okay,
cheating
you got 10 seconds.
I won't stretch upstream. One more. Let's do it. All the way in. All right.
Didn't happen today for Jesse.
Damn. Thank you all for the
Thank
chance and supporting what we do at TU. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Jesse. Good luck with the rest of the day of fishing.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Take care.
1 minute fishing always brings some chaos to the show, but we like it. All right, here's some more chaos. Our next segment is The Price is Right.
Uh-oh. Here it comes from Bozeman, Montana, MeatEater Radio's most exciting 10 minutes. It's The Price is Right!
Yeah,
Seth Morris, come on down!
Seth Morris.
Mr. Chilliam, come on down! You're the next two contestants on MeatEater Radio's The Price is Right! Now here's your host, Spencer Neuharth!
Thank you, Phil. Now, this game is really simple. Phil is going to tell you about a product from the MeatEater universe, and you need to guess its price. The player with the closest answer without going over will be declared the winner. If both players go over, then you'll both be told to try again. And the chat should play along as well, because whoever has the closest answer will get a shout-out from Phil. All right, there are 3 products on today's show. Phil, tell us about the first item up for bid.
Clicking a lot of buttons here, Spencer. Just give me 1 sec. Gotta turn off this banner. It's kind of in the way.
I just want everyone to know that what Phil just did was live. That wasn't like a drop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He brings all the energy.
Well, let's start today's bidding with a 3-piece walleye dinner from Culver's.
Ooh.
For 1 month every year during Lent, Culver's adds a deep-fried walleye to their menu. Each fillet, which comes from crystal clear Canadian waters, is hand-battered and cooked to order. Their Northwoods walleye 3-piece dinner comes with tartar sauce, a warm roll, a soda, and 2 sides. You'll get to choose from a garden salad, crinkle-cut fries, coleslaw, cheese curds, chili, or pretzel bites.
And don't forget to save room for custard after eating those 1.5 walleyes. The flavor of the day today is chocolate caramel twist at the Onalaska, Wisconsin location, which is where I sourced the price for this dinner. That's a 3-piece walleye dinner from Culver's. 2 sides, a soda, a warm roll, and tartar sauce. And them are some big old fillets. Seth, how big do you think them walleyes were?
25 inches.
Yeah, 20 plus for sure.
Yeah.
These are some healthy.
I wonder where they're getting
walleye.
those. Great Lakes, probably.
Canada.
Canada?
Mm-hmm. That's what their website says. Now, when they say Canada, I don't know if there's like aquaculture in Canada or if they're going out and netting some faraway river or what the deal is. But it's very well reviewed walleye from Culver's, a 3-piece dinner. And again, you boys cannot go over. If you go over, you will get it wrong.
Look at that sandwich.
Chili, every time I'm heading east on the interstate and I pass through Rapid City, that's the first time I can smell Culver's again. That's about as far west as they get.
Yeah, I would.
Same answers.
Well, leave it. You boys literally have the same answer?
What if we get the right answer, dude?
Well, we can't. We gotta have a winner and a loser. We can't tie.
Okay, Seth has seen Chili's answer.
And you're
now
cheating,
he's adjusting.
too.
Chili, you missed the Culvers back home in Rapid City?
I do, yeah. Yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, you're right. They're outside of Rapid, west of Rapid, you don't find them.
No.
And if there are, someone let us know. But
you can start to smell Casey's when you get that far east too.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I do miss a Culver's burger.
All right, you boys ready?
Yep.
And this price is from Onalaska, Wisconsin. Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Seth saying $13 and Chili says $12.99.
I want everyone to know if Chili wins this, I had that first.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be so. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. That's bad. Just stick to your answer. Stick to your guns,
So
dude.
you had $12.99 as
I
well.
did.
Okay, both of you come up with a new answer then. You saw Chili's answer. We're gonna have you come up with a new answer. You were both lower than the correct answer. So come up with a new one. They both wrote down $12.99. Seth then changed his answer, but we're going to make them try one more time. We know the price is higher than $12.99. Chili, you have your answer?
I do, yeah.
Seth, you have your answer?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and reveal your ansers. We have Chili saying $14.99 and Seth saying $14.50. The correct answer is $20.79, giving Chili that very first point.
Suck it, Seth.
Them walleye ain't cheap, huh, Seth?
I guess not.
Who did well in the chat, Phil? Anybody get it around the right answer?
Yeah, I haven't looked for the last 30 seconds. So we had Derek saying $19.99. That was the closest.
Oh, and his last name is Xander. Xander is a European walleye.
That is fantastic.
Hey. Well done, Derek Xander.
Guy knows his stuff.
There's some of those in South Dakota?
North Dakota,
yeah.
Cottonwood Lake, I think it is.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Phil, tell us about the second item up for bid.
Well, if you prefer selling fish to buying fish, then how about owning your very own bait shop? Lacey Marine Bait and Tackle is located at the Jersey Shore. This turnkey business comes with all of their inventory, 4 bait freezers, a live bait tank, and a state-of-the-art POS system. Lacey's has been open since 1969 and is a fixture of the community. I forgot that I can't change the slide without getting the script out of my eyeballs. And now it is gone. Where was I? But there are some things money can't buy, like the Lacey Township Police Department Citizen Recognition Award that the business received in 2023. Lacey Marine Bait and Tackle got the honor after its owner saved the life of a customer who collapsed while shopping for bait.
Amazing. And Lacey's claims to have an annual revenue of $920,000 and has been listed for sale since November 2023. Seth and Chili, what does that bait store cost? And Phil is showing us some pictures of Lacey. It is Lacey Marine Bait and Tackle located at the Jersey Shore. We're looking at some bloodworms there. That appears to be one of their hot ticket items based on Facebook.
Seth, you want to look at my answer?
Nope.
You boys have an answer?
Yeah.
I would love to own a bait shop someday.
That would be fun.
Oh, I think it'd be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you had a bar in there, too.
Where would you put that bait shop at?
Oh, probably like upper Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that type of culture. I feel like this is more like ocean culture.
Yeah, this is very marine heavy in their area. They've got like a whole section of yacht paint in this bait store.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be wanting to, like, you know, have some cheese curds or something in there, and you know,
smell like bait.
Have Chester come walking
Culver's. That's good. You boys ready?
Yep.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We've got Chili saying 1.3 million and Seth saying 1.4 million.
You cheat.
You're both too high, so you'll both need to try again.
Wow.
What are they saying?
On the shore?
Too high.
Has an annual revenue of $920,000. Now that's revenue, not profit. So that's their top line number, not their bottom line number. You guys have an answer?
This isn't trivia. I could probably just look this up.
I suspect some of our audience is doing that. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We've got Chili saying 865. And Seth saying 930,000. They're still too high.
Oh, jeez.
They're going to need to try again. We have yet to have this happen.
I guess this place has been on the market for how long,
right.
Phil?
Since November 2023.
Wow.
I gotta say, everyone in the chat is right there with you guys.
Okay.
Too high.
Too high. Wow. This bait store may have a lot of suitors after this episode. If you folks are willing to throw around $1.4 million, it could very easily be yours.
Still too high.
Okay, you guys ready again?
So wait, even if he's like lower, but if I'm over by 25K, but he's under by 300K, he
Being
wins?
under is important. You're automatically disqualified if you're over. Are you ready?
Nope.
Okay, Seth is going back to his one.
I'm gonna.
So is Chili.
We're gonna go.
You're going low, aren't you?
Okay, they figured out the game.
All right. We're gonna
Are
go.
you ready?
Okay.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We've got Chili saying 460,000 and Seth saying 475,000. They're still too high.
Oh my God!
They're going back to their whiteboards for a fourth attempt.
We got ourselves a game, folks. $1. You went 2-something, didn't you? Yeah, you did 245.
We've started at 1.4 million. We're all the way down to under 460,000 at this point. Seth and Chili are on their fourth attempt of guessing the price of Lacey Marine bait and tackle at the Jersey
No, I'm
Shore.
sticking. I'm
You
just
sticking?
Are you ready?
Just went
Go
low.
ahead and
All right.
reveal your answers. We've got Seth says $56.
No, that's $5.
$5. He says $5. Chili says 244,000. The correct answer is 279,000, giving Chili the second point and
I should have went with $5.
the victory.
That's not bad for a tackle shop.
Hey, it could be yours. Like I said, a lot of folks in the chat may be outbidding you though.
Well, here's okay. Really quick, a bunch of people started getting closer after the third "You're Too High,"
Yep.
but Pit Pass Podcast guessed 210 right off the bat.
Well
so I'm going
done,
to call them
Pit
the
Pass.
winners.
All right.
Pass.
Pit Pass, you get that point. Phil, let's hear about our third item up for bid. We'll see if Chili can get the skunk on Seth and make him run around the office naked as is tradition.
Nobody wants.
If you're looking to fill that bait shop with decor, then how about an autographed Jaws poster? Ooh. This movie poster has a certificate of authenticity, meaning it's the real deal. It measures 26 inches by 38 inches and is signed by 4 members of the cast, plus Steven Spielberg. Actually, I will tell you that John Williams is not a member of the cast, but the composer of the soundtrack.
Okay.
The Oscar-winning film turns 50 years old this year, giving you a chance to own a piece of cinema history.
The eBay seller also offers a jockey's costume from Seabiscuit and 23 Disney DVDs. All right, Seth and Chili, what does that signed Jaws poster cost? Who's the composer, Phil?
John Williams.
John Williams,
Yes.
and I think that's how they won their Oscar, was via their music. It was not Best Picture or Best Lead Actor or anything like that. Best music.
You said that this fella has this on eBay?
On eBay.
Okay, so
That's
he's
right.
not trying to like sell this at a, okay.
And
That's
he's
good.
also selling a jockey's costume from Seabiscuit and 23 Disney DVDs. You boys have your
that gives me
answer.
some thoughts. Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We've got Chili saying $11,000, and Seth goes with $1. The correct.
You're such a that's Bush League.
Correct
You're
answer.
such a Bush Leaguer,
Have
dude.
you ever watched this show?
Yeah,
Price
but-
is Right?
Yeah, but
$1 wins a lot.
yeah, but
The correct answer is $190, giving Seth his third point, and he's
Oh,
quite
his first
satisfied.
point, his first
I'm
point.
sorry, his first point. Chili is the winner of
Chili.
today's game
Good
of
job.
Price is Right.
don't talk to me.
Phil, how'd the chat do?
We had Dylan Jenkins saying 175. I believe that was the closest without going over. Oh, nope. Nick said 189, which is kind of
Ooh.
suspiciously close.
I feel like I've heard that
Suspiciously
name during the
close.
Price is Right before, Nick.
I think Nick is about to buy himself a new poster.
All right.
Good game, Chili.
That ends today's game of Price is Right. Thanks for playing along, everybody. And remember, to help control the pet population, have your pets spayed and neutered. All right, our next segment is Tattoos I Regret.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've looked at my tattoo again. It really seemed like such a good idea when I was drunk last summer in Ibiza. The tattoo says a puss in the pot will always find more beans. What the f does that mean? It's a tattoo I regret.
Now, I'm so thrilled about today's tattoo that for only the second time ever, we have the person with the regrettable tattoo joining us live. Here she is now, Amanda Fairbairn Kimery. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Amanda, let's get some backstory before we reveal your tattoo. First thing, when did you get this?
I got it almost probably like a decade ago when I was a junior in college at Clemson.
Okay, and what was going on that day when you got that tattoo?
My friend and I were having ourselves a good Saturday, and and at the time Clemson was winning the national championship. Everyone was getting, go Tigers, go Tigs, Clemson tattooed on the inside of their lip. It was like a new trend, I guess everyone had jumped on. And my friend and I were sitting there, and I'm like, what is just the most outrageous and ridiculous tattoo you can think of?
Okay, and that's how you landed on this idea. Have you ever met another person with this tattoo?
No, I haven't. I've met hundreds of people with lip tattoos, and like when the video of me went viral, I was reading the comments and everyone was commenting like what their lip tattoo that they had was, and I was really expecting someone else to have something similar, but no, not a soul yet.
No. Is this your only tattoo?
So no, I actually have 4 other tattoos, and they're actually all related to the outdoors in some way as well.
All right. Well, let's reveal your tattoo and then explain its meaning for us.
Okay, so it's 1804 to 1806, and it is yes, 1804 to 1806, and it is the dates of the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Okay, love that. Why the Lewis and Clark expedition dates?
I mean, when sitting out, on a nice Saturday with my friend, we were thinking, what is the most outrageous thing? What else could you possibly think of other than something having to do with history way back when that kind of people forget after grade school too,
Mm-hmm. So what ideas did you pass on before landing on 1804 to 1806 on the inside of your bottom lip?
So we passed on my mom's phone number. I think she's probably very grateful that I know that. I did not have that. And then we also passed on, I think it was Bill Gates's birthday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, just we were thinking about outrageous and random things. And then my friend got the dates of the Mayan calendar when it was like expected to end. She got those dates tattooed.
Okay, very good. Now, what do your friends and family think of the tattoo?
When I first got it, they just thought it was stupid, and they figured, it'll fade in 1 to 3 years, whatever. Well, here we are, almost a decade later, and they still think it's just as outrageous. But it's brought a lot of joy and laughter, so everyone just thinks it's funny now.
Do your other friends with lip tattoos have their lip tattoos faded? Because I've always heard it said that that's a thing that they fade, but then that hasn't seemed to be a reality.
Yeah, so that's why everyone started getting them like a decade ago, is because everyone's like, oh, who cares? Like it fades in 1 to 3 years. But yeah, no, hers actually, my friend that I got it with, hers is pretty faded. I think there's still a little bit left of it, but hers is pretty faded. Mine's going strong though.
Do you actually regret the tattoo though?
I'm going to say no. If you would have told me when I got it that it would last probably my entire life, I probably wouldn't have gotten it then. But looking back now, it's just brought everyone so much joy and laughter. And it's actually the reason my husband and I are together.
Oh, how did that come to be?
That's cool.
So when we met at a mutual friend's house for a party. And at that said party, he was there with his boys. And he was like, I'm not going to talk to any girls tonight. I'm just going to hang out with the guys. He told me this later in our relationship. But then later on, he also admitted that the minute he found out I had that lip tattoo, he's like, oh, I'll talk to her. Like, she seems like a pretty cool girl.
Wow.
Now they're married.
That's great. Well, traditionally during this segment, we shame people for having bad tattoos, but we're not going to do that. I think it's so damn cool. And I'm jealous I didn't think of it first. Why didn't I come up with putting the dates of the Lewis and Clark expedition on the inside of my lip?
Yeah, that's like something you would totally do.
I know. But now we're talking to Amanda instead, who did have that great idea on a drunk
Hopefully
Saturday.
one day someone else will have the
college.
same lip tattoo.
That's right. All right, Amanda, thank you for joining us, and thanks for sharing your tattoo that you absolutely should not regret.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Chili, do you regret any of your tattoos?
Not a one.
How many do you have?
Oh, I don't even know.
30?
No, not that many. Almost 20, maybe.
And you don't regret any of them?
No.
I think the only regret I have is, like, I didn't do something bigger. I don't have regrets about, like, oh, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I have Dead Man's Hand here right above my watch. I wish I would have done that bigger.
Yeah. That would have, yeah. I like that tattoo a lot. I wish you would have done it bigger.
Thank you, Chili. No
Your
regrets.
tattoos are really, like, a lot of thought went into them, I feel
Oh, I
like.
appreciate it. Well, I did a thing that most people with tattoos don't do. Is like, I didn't start getting them until I was almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
You know, your tattoo era is when you're in college or something. And I was just too broke to afford them then.
Yep.
So now I had a wiser version of me coming up with bad tattoo ideas.
I like them.
Thank you, Seth. All right, that brings us to the end of the show. Phil, what's the chat have to say?
Yeah, we got a few more in here. First, I just wanted to shout out Mogor, who got back to us. He says he officially passed the Hungarian state hunting exam.
Oh,
He says
nice.
inspired by MeatEater. So good job, Mogor. Congrats.
Well done, Mogor.
Congrats on that. Devin asks, well, first of all, last chance to get questions in. Do that right now. Devin asks, any good recommendations or favorites for solo camping tents for hunting trips? Looking forward to doing my first deer hunt later this year.
What do you think, Seth?
I have it's a Nemo. I don't remember what model, but it's just like a one person, real light. It's a 3-season, so keep that in mind if you're going to be in some cold, snowy weather. But I enjoy that thing. It's super light. I fit in it great, and yeah.
Chili?
I'm a fan of the Seek Outside Cimarron. It's a 4-man tent. Probably get 2 fully grown men in there. But the cool thing about that one is too, it has if you purchase a stove, you can run a stove out of it too. So if you are late season hunting, you can have some warmth with you. Obviously, you have to do some more logistics when it comes to where you're going, packing in wood and all that stuff. But and that thing's great in the summer as well. So pretty lightweight, and it's very, very low profile as far as packing. So that's why I like it.
Stoves are nice.
Devin, I tented for most of my deer hunts, and usually I'm solo. I run a 3-person tent. I find that's the right size for me to be like very comfortable in there. And I'm talking about car camping specifically, where I can fit a cot, I can fit a little heater, I can like hang up my socks and clothes to dry real nice. Seth had brought up having a 3-season tent. If you're hunting in the fall, which sounds like you are on this deer hunt, I think it's very important to have a 4-seasons tent. And those ratings are sort of done different by each company. I don't think there's any like legal obligation to call it a 3-season tent or a 4-season tent if it fits this certain criteria. But I think, Devin, if it's important to you to stay warm at night and you're hunting anytime, from mid-October on in the north, look for a 4-season tent. And if you know you're going to be by yourself, a 3-person tent will keep you really comfortable. I run an Alps Tasmanian tent. I've had that for 5 years. I really love it. I'm very cozy in there.
Yeah, and I was thinking more backcountry stuff, but if you are car camping, go with a bigger tent.
Yeah.
It's just nicer to have the extra room.
Phil, what else you got?
The only reason I'm going to put this guy's name on the screen is because he specifically told me how to pronounce his last name.
Okay.
But this is kind of an ethical, Chetticut-esque moral conundrum here. But here we go. Brad asks, while being a father of 3 with food prices as high as they are, is it okay to accept game meat that was probably poached?
And how do you pronounce his last name, Phil?
Witucky. In case anyone wants to look for him.
Yeah, take that game meat, Brad. You're fine. It's not going to taste any different, I don't think. Would you boys have any, if you needed to feed a family of 3, would you take some poached meat? We don't know that
he
it's
doesn't
poached.
know that it's
Suspect
poached, so yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that meat, Brad,
You don't
and then when you're feeding it to folks, you can talk about conservation. It gives you a good little nugget of information to share with other people.
Plausible deniability.
There you
You
go.
don't know. Nobody knows. Let's see here. Favorite way to cook turkey breast that isn't schnitzel or nuggets, which he already loves to make. This is from Keith.
Seth, what are you doing with all that turkey meat?
Well, schnitzel and nuggets are my go-to. My wife and I did a stir fry the other night, which was fantastic. I just kind of sliced it up in like thin strips. and did that. It was great. Served it over rice.
Keith, go to the MeatEater.com on our recipe section. You can search. You can put the criteria in there for only turkey meat. You'll get all kinds of great recipes from people who are far better cooks than us. And there'll be a lot of inspiration there that's not schnitzel or nuggets.
Seth, this is from Will. Seth, I've watched you and Steve's trapping, skinning, and fleshing videos. Will y'all ever do a tanning follow-up, or do you have any tips right now? He said he recently started, and his coons always come out greasy and stiff.
I don't do any tanning. I send everything off to the tannery to get tanned professionally. I never got into the tanning thing.
Did you ever mess around with like quick tan? Isn't that something that?
No. When I was younger, I used to like kill squirrels and just salt the heck out, like stretch them and salt the heck out of them. And
where are them squirrels at now?
Oh, they're probably rotted away somewhere. Honestly, I have no clue. I might have one or two left back in my mom's house in Pennsylvania, but that wasn't a forever type treatment. But I've honestly never tanned anything, like legit tanned something, so can't really help you there.
What else you got, Phil?
Any experience putting electronics on a pontoon? That's from Brian.
Not on a pontoon, but a lot of electronics with other boats. What do you need to know?
Well, he's asking about...
Hummingbird Lowrance. I'd go with the bird, but it just depends. Hummingbird has better mapping.
And I bet on a pontoon it's a little more simple, like, plumbing your electronics through the bottom than it would be with a traditional V-hull boat.
Yep.
But I don't know, Brian.
We can go ahead.
Have you seen a lot of electronics on pontoons like that?
Yeah. I know Max Barta's father-in-law, Walleye Dan, he guides out of a pontoon.
Oh, yeah.
He probably has lots of experience with rigging pontoon boats. But as far as I'm concerned, I think a pontoon boat's a great fishing vessel.
Gives you a lot of surface space to walk around in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I imagine if you're rigging up a pontoon with expensive electronics, that you're trying to be a good family man, Brian. You're trying to have one foot in both worlds of good fishing and taking the kids out on the river or the lake on a Saturday. It's good on you, Brian.
We'll do one more here, but first, Brian, who won the hot tip-off, said he got busy at work and missed it live, but he just popped in and says thanks so much. So, yeah, Brian, be on the lookout for something from Corey here if he hasn't already messaged you already.
Done. Well done.
Oh, yeah, that's a pro. Pro producer right there.
Good tip, Brian.
Last one from Ben. Spencer, have you ever tried paddle fishing by Yankton? He said he's from the area and wants to get his first spoonie.
I have done it, Ben. It was like some of my favorite outdoor memories as a kid. The fishing is, even in the bad years, it's very good by Yankton. That's where a dam is on the Missouri River. It's the last dam on the Missouri River. And a lot of fish get stacked up there. It's a lot of fun. It's not a thing where you have to be up super early or stay out till the last minute of daylight. There's really, really good camaraderie with it, Ben. And I assume if you're a resident, you get access to better water than everyone else. And so enjoy that, Ben. Keep buying those preference points. Know what the slot is and how to measure it. Folks are very willing to give tips on how to do it, how to rig your weights and your treble hooks. So don't be afraid to ask someone if you need some help. But enjoy it. It's I miss it a lot. All right, that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll see you guys back here in 1 week.